Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome back to Hot and Flashy. Today's video is in response to a video I posted maybe a week and a half ago in which I was testing primers. Now the winner in that video was Smashbox PhotoFinish Light. A lot of people had written in on the comments to that video that there's a dupe for that primer. And it's not really a primer, it's a Monistat product that's for chafing. It's the Monistat Chafing Relief Powder-Gel. And so I actually had seen a video on this months and months ago on YouTube, and I had wanted to try it and I bought the stuff, but I just never had I just never had the nerve to actually squeeze it out and put it on my face. Until everyone said, you know, this is an exact dupe, you can save yourself 30 bucks. I love to save money just as much as the next guy, so I thought, geez, I bought it months ago, why have I never tried it? All right, everybody's saying that it really works, let me actually try it. So I have done my usual thing and put it to the Angie test. Now what I have to say is I looked at the ingredients, and the ingredient list on this, it's not really a dupe for the Smashbox PhotoFinish Primer Foundation Light, which is the one I used in my previous video and the one that I liked the most. What it really is more of an ingredient dupe for is the original Smashbox PhotoFinish Foundation Primer. All right, and so if you look at the ingredients to those two, they are very similar. The main ingredients are dimethicone, cyclopentasiloxane, more dimethicone, a little more dimethicone. They are very similar, but there are some differences. And just to make it interesting, I threw in a third one that also has a very similar ingredient list, and that is the NYX Pore Filler. Now that is also mainly a dimethicone silicone product. So as usual, I put on each one on a separate day. Give you my first impressions of what it feels like, you know, how it goes on, how it fills in my pores. Then use the same foundation over the top, which in all of these three will be, just so I don't have to show it to you every single time, again, it's CC Plus cream, and then wore them all day, and then I have pictures from later in the day between 10 and 12 hours in of wearing them so that you can see how they really wore and if this really is a great dupe and you can save yourself 30 bucks and buy it. All right, so let's go over the ingredients on the label a little bit before we get into the application and the pictures and the direct comparison. I'm going to need my readers for this, and I always say sorry about the glare. Now, I did not buy a full size of the Smashbox because I had just bought the Smashbox Light, so I didn't want to go ahead and spend another $36 on this. So I just picked up a sample from Sephora, and this is the original Smashbox PhotoFinish Foundation Primer. So let's just compare ingredients first. Now, here's what the package looks like for the Monistat product. Now you have to make sure that you're getting this one. It's the Soothing Care Chafing Relief Powder-Gel Skin Protectant. This one breaks it into active ingredients and inactive ingredients. So the active ingredient is dimethicone 1.2%, and then cyclopentasiloxane, dimethicone/vinyl dimethicone cross polymer, silica, tocopherol acetate, and trisiloxane. The Smashbox ingredients are very similar. Cyclopentasiloxane is the first ingredient, dimethicone cross polymer is the second ingredient, and then straight old dimethicone is the third ingredient here. And then the fourth one, on this one, it's trisiloxane and then silica. Next, dimethicone/vinyl dimethicone cross polymer. Then they have something called ethyl hexyl salicylate, don't know what that is. Then they have retinol palmitate, that's vitamin A. Then they have the tocopherol acetate, that's the vitamin E. And then there's green tea and aloe and water. And this may be getting way too detailed for you. You may just be zoning out. So where this one is like 100% silicones and dimethicones, the Smashbox has a lot more in it, and it also contains some water. So they're not exactly the same formulation. So, okay, so of the three of them, the ingredient lists are not identical, but 90% of the formulation is made up of the first 3 to 5 ingredients. So really those are the ones that if they're similar, it's going to be pretty much the same. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's added after that. Now let's go to the side-by-side comparison of these. I want to start by showing you what they look like and how they feel. And you can see that two are very similar and one is quite different. Okay, so the first one is the Monistat. The second one, I hope I'm pointing to it, is the Smashbox, And the third one that actually has some color to it is the NYX. All right, now feel-wise, if I rub them in, let me do the Monistat first. This one feels almost like water at first. It's very liquidy, but it feels very slippery and very velvety at the same time, like silky, very silky. And it certainly does rub far. I could do the whole back of my hand with this little bit I put on there, I feel, because it just seems to want to glide all over the place. So now the next one is the Smashbox, and I'm just going to rub that down a little bit. And this one also very liquidy, very silky, very velvety. Feels slightly thicker and slightly less watery than the Monistat, but still would go a long way. Has a little more tack than the Monistat, I would say. And then we'll go for the third one, which is the NYX, and we will smooth that one right down there. And that one feels much less liquidy, much more powdery, I would say. So it's sort of like a powder inside a gel. And that one doesn't feel like it would go as far as the other two. All right, so right up here, this is the Monistat, this is the Smashbox, this is the NYX. Now just to feel them, the Monistat feels really dry now. The Smashbox still feels tacky, and the NYX feels sort of in between dry and tacky. All right, now as far as the product's pricing and claims are, the Monistat Chafing Relief Powder-Gel is $6 for 1.5 ounces. Its claims, because it's supposed to be used for where your skin is chafing, not on your face as a primer, don't really pertain to pore filling or anything. It says it dries to form a silky, breathable barrier to fight friction, and it's fragrance-free and non-staining. Now, my first impressions were that it's a semi-translucent gel that glides over skin, feels very silky, like I couldn't believe how silky it felt great. That it doesn't really absorb into the skin, that it more coats the skin, and it does fill the pores, but it did leave me with sort of whitish dots where it did fill the pores. It kind of became a little more opaque than where it was on the surface of the skin. Makeup applies smoothly, but needs close attention to avoid puddles. So it did diminish pores, but accentuated wrinkles, I felt. I also just wanted to note there is a $2 coupon for this available if you go on monistat.com. It's right there on the front page if you want to buy it, so you can get it even cheaper for $4. All right, so let's go to the pictures, and I will tell you how I thought it wore. All right, so at 4 hours, I thought it was very comfortable to wear. I didn't have any itching, and I couldn't really feel that it was there. I did feel like the makeup slides around a bit, and it causes a lot of settling in the wrinkles. You look at my eyes in the picture, you can see that it made my eye makeup just slide right off. So as you can see, my eye makeup was a mess. So if you do use this, do not put it up under your eyes or your eye makeup will slide off. The way it made the eye makeup slide, it also sort of made the foundation and everything else slide around. So that at 8 hours, I thought it looked bad. I thought it was really shiny. The makeup looked good on the smooth spots, but it's gone on my pimples and on my nose, and it bunched up in weird places. So that was everything I had to say about the Monistat. So I think it would probably be great on nice young smooth skin, and as long as you keep it away from your eyes and don't wear a ton of makeup, because like I say, I feel like it made it slide around. I feel like it made me shiny. If you're going to go somewhere where there's going to be a lot of flash photography, I would not wear this because the shine and the bounce back from the flash is really bad. Okay, now let's go to the Smashbox. $36 for 1 ounce. And the claims are that it's a perfect canvas for foundation, that it's silky, lightweight, contains vitamins A and E, grapeseed extract, and green tea, and that it's oil-free. That it helps reduce the appearance of wrinkles and pores and creates a velvety, smooth finish. And something else that it said on the website that I didn't know, it said to put it in your hair to tame the frizzies. So it's a dual product, but for 36 bucks, I don't think you want to be wasting it in your hair. There's cheaper hair stuff that you can put in there. Maybe the Monistat stuff for your hair would be awesome. Let's try that next. Yeah, this is kind of a funny experiment using a chafing gel on your face, but hey, the things we'll do for YouTube, right? All right, my first impressions of the Smashbox, it also felt very silky and very slippery. It didn't feel quite as wet, didn't have as much slip as the Monistat. It definitely glides on, and it improves the appearance of the pores and mattifies. Makeup glides over and blends easily. All right, so now let's go to the pictures and we can see how it wore later in the day. It was very comfortable. I had no itching at 4 hours. The makeup was still in place and looked good. At 8 hours, it was slightly shiny and my pores were starting to reappear. And at 12 hours, the makeup is still smooth and even on most of my face, but it was worn off sort of on the bottom half of my face where, you know, I try not to touch my face that often, but I have a hard time. And where the makeup, even though it was worn off after 12 hours in some places, the places that it was still on, like my forehead, nose, and cheeks, it was really nice and smooth and left a nice finish. So all in all, very impressed with the Smashbox PhotoFinish, very unimpressed with the Monistat. All right, and let's go for the wild card. The third one that I threw in there because my friend happened to bring it over was the NYX Pore Filler. Now this retails for $13 for 0.67 ounces. So pound for pound, it is about, let's see, you're getting about half as much as the Monistat for twice. So it's about 4 times the cost of the Monistat. And it is, you know, about half, a little less than half the price of the Smashbox. All right, so the claims on this are that it reduces the look of your pores. It's a perfect pre-foundation base coat. It's talc-free, oil-free, and includes soothing vitamin E. So they all include vitamin E. My first impressions is that it feels as silky as the Monistat, but not as wet or liquidy. It feels drier and much more powder-like. It doesn't glide as far as the Monistat or the Smashbox. It does seem to set up and stay in place better. So that I did like, and it really did fill in the pores and was very mattifying. All right, now let's go to the pictures. And what I said about this one was that it was very comfortable to wear, that it didn't feel dry or itchy all day, that the makeup looked good at 4 hours and the pores were still reduced. At 8 to 12 hours, I had slight flaking on my forehead and it was worn off a bit on my lower face. And that was pretty much all I said about it. So from that, I would have to say that the winner of these three was the more expensive product, the Smashbox, $36. So in evaluating the three of them, I would say, you know, is the Smashbox $30 better than the Monistat Chafing Gel? For me, yes. After having done this and really looked at the pictures and seen the glare and the, you know, how it wore off, I will not be putting this on my face as a primer again. But I am an older person with more problems on my face. So if you're young and really looking for an inexpensive primer solution, I think this could work great for you. I would just be careful, like I said, about flash photography with it because it is much more shiny. And also part of this test was like, I don't put powder on over the top so I can really test the primer. If you're going to get powder and then repowder during the day and you don't mind doing that, then, you know, this could be great for you. For $6, why not give it a try? But for me, the hands down winner in this was the Smashbox. But I have to say, for a little more than the cost of this, you could get this, and I found this to be far superior to this. So if you're looking for a drugstore brand and you don't want to spend, you know, a whole ton of money on a primer, this one was surprisingly good, and I'm so glad that my friend had this in her makeup bag because I was really impressed with it. There are pros and cons to each. My overall conclusion is this an exact ingredient dupe for Smashbox? No, it's not. Because the Smashbox product has so much more in it that makes it last a lot longer and perform a lot better. So the Smashbox was the winner again for me. So that was the test for today. If you love the NYX or you love the Monistat as a primer, that's okay. You know, all of our skin is different. This is what worked on my skin. That is the review, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.